So it gives me very great pleasure indeed to welcome Danny Boyle to deliver his talk, Will Robots Love Jesus?
This is the kind of maximum that we can know and operate within as people. About 120, 150 people, that you can manage that group. But it was our ability to create belief systems that allowed another group of 150, and ad infinitum, to believe in, that let us operate together and then let us kind of build our world, really. And these belief systems they're pretty obvious. They're not absolutely definitive, because actually you can make your own contribution to them. But basically the ones he mentions, and the really big ones, I suppose, are money, religion, and obviously that's why I mentioned Jesus in the title, and war or nationalism, really. Things that bunches of strangers can agree to cooperate flexibly about in huge numbers. So you can literally go to war and fight alongside people who you've never met for the belief in an idea. When we did the Olympic opening ceremony, our climax of that effectively was a study of kind of popular culture, and embedded in it was Tim Berners-Lee's contribution to our life. And he had famously said he invented basically the World Wide Web that made the internet understandable and communicatable with, really. And he used this famous phrase, which actually we projected across the stadium and across the world to 2 million people, saying, this is for everyone. And it was something, and I remember the belief we had in that, how wonderful this man was, that all these other people that you were hearing about at the times, like Steve Jobs, who I've made a film about, and kind of like Elon Musk and all these people who had enriched themselves to enormous degree using these new powers. Here was somebody who had invented it and given it away, literally entrusted it to everyone, and indeed in a way that no corporation could ever claim ownership of it and privatize it and monetize it, really, that it was a gift for everyone. There's a Werner Herzog documentary called Lo and Behold, which is about 2 years old, so it's slightly out of date, but it's about the internet, really. It's him. I mean, anything by him is amazing to watch and listen to. And he says, does the internet suffer? Can the internet suffer pain? And which I wanted to put him together with Jeanette Winterston about that, really. And for the two of them, you would think, what an amazing thing for the two of them to talk, really. But what he meant was that when China doesn't allow the internet access, does the internet suffer? Does it actually feel that? He thinks it does, really, in a way. And it's a very, very important question, given where we're going with the sentience of machines, really. So, it sounds fanciful, but you get those are the questions that you get lured into, and you have to begin to examine, and it kind of opens your mind up a bit about where we're going. I mention all this because there is a new belief system coming, which obviously Werner Herzog knows about. Jeanette Winterston has written that book partly about, really. There's a new belief system that's coming, and it offers all the benefits that all the other belief systems offer, but with none of the suffering. It just offers continual fulfillment, really. And but it strips away those two things I mentioned that make us unique. It strips away the idea of the soul, but it strips us of the other thing that we thought made us unique, which is consciousness, really. Because I'm afraid what makes us different, the current scientific dogma, the current scientific thinking, is nothing makes us different. Is that consciousness is really just electrical charges in our brain. We don't quite know how to replicate them yet, but we will do. We will be able, well, perhaps not we, but something will be able to replicate them soon enough. So consciousness, so all the things that we thought were making us different, are no longer true. Those are the latest advancements in artificial intelligence has led us to that it's just electrical impulses firing in the brain, and it can be replicated. So as I said, I heard Jeanette Winterston talking about Frankenstein and wondering whether suffering was something perhaps the machines could not fully understand or replicate. So I would go further than that and say what makes us truly unique and what machines cannot understand by their very nature of progression and machine learning is weakness, mistakes, which they will look to improve, correct, or indeed forbid. You think about culture, it thrives on weakness. That's what we do. We look at uncertainty, you know. The robot cannot share our weakness. It cannot share our uncertainty. And the reason it can't is because we know where they came from. They came from here. They came from, if you look at Babbage and Lovelace in the Industrial Museum, they came from here. They were built here via Alan Turing and then to San Francisco and China. And so we know where they came from. They can't have that mystery that we have. And that's what makes us different from them. Charlie Brooker's got a wonderful phrase about, who is one of the great thinkers about this. He's got a wonderful phrase about what our future is. And he calls it a future of polishing robots. And that could be our future. And polishing robots and their self-perpetuating replacements. But, and this is my point, this is where I wanted to come to and why I have come here tonight. We have a more unique and powerful software and hardware than any of this. And it's that thing I mentioned at the beginning, it's culture. Culture as a belief system. It's a belief system that creates its own economy, as we know. Manchester's a very, very good example of that in a small way to begin with. And it elevates and entertains us. It occupies our time, your mind, and connects us with other believers in the belief system. And it is a chance to believe again, because what we're being robbed of is and numbed by is a chance is belief, really. And I just wanted to finish with a quote from, actually not from those books, from Nick Cave. I don't know whether you go on his website where you're allowed to ask questions and he answers them, properly answers them. It's amazing, the Red Hand Files, I think it's called. It's work, and he writes about the death of his child as well, which is incredibly moving and beautifully written. Anyway, somebody said, do you believe in God? And asked him that one. And he said, oh, well, I think we get what we're willing to believe, and that our experience of the world extends exactly to the limits of our interest and credence. I am interested in the idea of possibility and uncertainty. Possibility, by its very nature, extends beyond provable facts, and uncertainty propels us forward. The idea of uncertainty, of not knowing, is the creative energy that drives everything I do. Thank you very much, everyone. Penny again.